Judge Marbinay, Senate President and Mrs. Franklin Drilon, Speaker Feliciano Belmonte Jr., Chief Justice and Mr. Maria Lourdes Sereno, Secretary Albert Rosario, Your Excellency, Archbishop Giuseppe Pinto, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Executive Secretary Paquito Ochoa Jr., and members of the Cabinet present, honorable members of the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the Judiciary, heads of the international organizations, His Eminence Cardinal Ricardo Vidal, His Excellency Bishop Antonio Ranyola, major service commanders, representatives of the sector and non-government organizations, honored guests, fellow workers in government, mga minamahal ko pong kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. 116 years ago, our forefathers declared the Philippines an independent country, a people united under one flag, their voices rising in the same hymn, a people free to chart the path that our nation would take. So allow me to thank all of you for joining us in celebrating the independence of the Philippines. This, however, is not only a celebration. Today, we renew our commitment to honor the immense sacrifice made by our ancestors and to work towards realizing the full benefits of independence. This responsibility falls on the shoulders of all Filipinos, perhaps especially for those of us in government. The depth and the breadth of this responsibility can be challenging. As President, I am tasked with ensuring a balance between taking care of all the concerns within our borders, how to create more jobs and opportunities for our countrymen, how to invest more funds into social services, how to improve our resilience in times of disaster, and how to build peace among the others. At the same time, we recognize that being an independent country means being part of the larger international community. A solely inward-looking approach to governance is doomed to fail. Any responsible country knows that it must also work alongside its brother nations to address the world's problems. This is what the Philippines is doing, even with our limitations. For example, we have an active contingent in the UN peacekeeping force in the Golden Heights, even if the situation has changed dramatically, with no less than 3 incidents affecting Filipino peacekeepers. One may ask, why do we do this? In turn, I would ask them, is there any problem unique to one country? At present, around 10 million Filipinos are living and working in other shores. Thus, when I hear reports of problems anywhere in the world, my first thought is always, were any Filipinos involved? Today, also, the entire world is witness to the adverse effects of climate change. Despite the Philippines being recognized as a country with a very small footprint, like many island countries, we bear a disproportionate burden when it comes to the ravages of climate change. Can my country afford to be silent about the effects of global warming when it has already affected the lives of so many people from all across the globe? In the same vein, time and again, the international community has reached out to the Philippines. This was clear in the assistance given by so many countries throughout our peace process. This was clear in the global outpouring of sympathy and assistance for the Filipino people in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan. Assistance that continues to this very day. All these underscore the principle that characterizes our collective actions, solidarity that leads to the benefit of all. Let me emphasize, all my government's efforts are undertaken for the empowerment of our countrymen. I have a responsibility to the Filipino people, just as other leaders have a responsibility to their own peoples. Each of our countries is beset with its own internal problems, but at the same time, we recognize that no comprehensive solution can be reached without also taking into consideration problems that the global community faces. None of us can realize our goals in isolation. As such, a fine balance must be struck to avoid interfering in others' affairs. This can be achieved by rendering genuine and meaningful assistance rather than by imposing our own views and policies on others. This can be achieved through sincere cooperation. Indeed, the world is united by more than just the interconnectivity afforded by technology. We are united by a commonality of purpose, how to overcome inequality, injustice, and conflict, and thus foster lasting progress, peace, and stability in an environment that truly upholds the rule of law. On this occasion, we are joined by our partners and friends in the Diplomatic Corps. Excellencies, your presence today further solidifies the Philippines' ties with the countries you represent. The deepening relationships our country enjoys with your countries today, not only in ASEAN, but with the rest of the community of nations, have led to increased opportunities for all our peoples, opportunities to understand other cultures and build on goodwill, economic ties, and to work towards maintaining stability, reason, and harmony in the entire world. These are relationships that we want to nurture. These are relationships that any country of goodwill should commit to nurturing. Excellencies, it is my hope that we can continue to maximize cooperation and avenues for dialogue in realizing our aspirations for our peoples. Together, we have the best chance of eliminating our common problems. Divided, we may have no chance at all. On this note, Your Excellencies, fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to rise and join me in a toast to the friendships and partnerships embodied in this gathering today. May they grow stronger in the coming years, and by so doing, redound to the benefit of all peoples of goodwill. To my fellow workers in government, may we strive every day to render true and honest service, remaining mindful that our mandate and authority emanate from the people. And to the resilience and continued success of the Filipino people, may we continue to tread the straight path towards securing a future in which no one is left behind. Mabuhay.